This is the revolution of the broken teeth and the 99 Civics wrapped around telephone poles, and all of last night's bad decisions of the homeless and the heartless, the dermatologists and the bag boys and the hypnotists and the long-haired hippie freaks, of the pierced and the tattooed and the dispossessed, of the fat entitled suburban kids and their public school teachers and the ER nurses and the ambulance drivers and the mid-level managers and the people who design the labels for green bean cans, of the smokers and the non-smokers, both sides of the aisle, and the guy who invented packing peanuts, of the people who press vinyl and the people who buy it and the people who don't, of the people who make cassettes and the people who make CDs and all the people who own laser discs, of the taxi cab drivers and the botanists and all the late night janitors who spent half a decade sweeping up for people they've never seen, of the people who never thank them, who wire them checks and never meet them. The revolution of those faceless check-wiring souls who've been seduced by the cold, naked scroll of exchange rates, pole dancing their way down cruel screens in 1,000 back rooms. This is the revolution of the people who built those back rooms, metaphorically and physically, the revolution of the wallpaper, and the children who sit quietly in corners and count the flourishes while their parents neck with their numbers. This is the revolution of the bitter and the judgmental, and the people like me who lie to themselves about their character sometimes. This is the revolution of politicians and pornographers and the porn addicts. Me and Ron Jeremy strolling through Central Park discussing mockingbirds and the '98 Olympics. This is Castro and Kennedy tossing the pigskin before Thanksgiving with the in-laws in Nantucket. The revolution of every broken marriage. Divorcees returning to one another like magnets across a third grader's desk, the unexpected infusion of romance into all of our lives. My friend, standing outside his house with a boombox blaring some 80s song his wife thought he'd forgotten, not because they ever got divorced, but simply because we all need to love each other a little more and express it, even if it's cliche. This is Madonna, Alan Greenspan, Bill Gates, and Lion-O, and zebra print zoot suits handing you all their money and carbon copies of the keys to Fort Knox. And this is you, hopping in the back of their purple and pink '68 Cadillac and bumping Biggie, going to give it all away again to someone else because now is everyone's birthday every day, and there's champagne for everyone. This is the revolution of every team winning their bowl games simultaneously, and everyone's bracket being perfect, and every slot machine in the universe landing on 777s. This is an army of tiny giraffes hired by an anonymous benefactor to give you foot rubs and help your kids with their math homework. This is you saying I love you to strangers. This is your dad giving you a key to something, and you later realizing you're wearing shackles and the key looks like it fits. This is you turning the key. This is letting people in front of you in traffic and picking up somebody else's tab. This is CPR without a mouth shield and fleeing the scene sometime between the paramedics and the media arriving. This is the revolution of every wound I have ever made being miraculously stitched closed, and the proverbial knives I've stabbed in the friends' backs materializing and returning to my hands, and me getting to make them a chopped endive salad and light some candles and wait for them to come back and eat with me. This is my enemies doing the same. This is the revolution of sidewalk chalk and bubbles. The revolution of dancing in your underpants and paying somebody else's parking tickets. This is the revolution that turns every scraped knee, every missed deadline, every regret, every hurt, every desire for understanding, every theory, every Chomsky and Marx and Aristotle and Curious George, every confusion and inscrutable desire, and all of our mind splatter scraped off the walls and thrown on a lathe into a flawless set of floral vases filled with living water, and used to nourish countless chrysanthemums once dying and now blooming, turns all of it into a Picasso or a Michelangelo or a Jupiter. Because Jupiter is freaking gorgeous, and even that storm becomes beautiful when you look at it with the proper perspective. This is dark matter. And my heart and bones are the unfathomable scientific tests and calculations that prove it's there, because I can't see it, but I can feel it, like a tidal wave. This is a tidal wave, and a single mustard seed, a deafening trumpet, and a stone rolled away, and a still, small whisper in the silence. A stream we can pound along the edges of, muttering about who got invites to the party or how the invitations came or the set of directions they offered, clutching the coals of our perceived wrongs with fists like cyclones, only to find at the end of the day that, no matter how hard we squeezed, They never turned to diamonds, they just stayed coal. And we lost our flame squeezing something so lifeless so tight. So now we can't even light them, and we're just in the dark, still holding coal. Or we can drop it, step freely into the river, and ride a blow-up polka-dotted hippopotamus down the revolution until it pours into the grand eternal sea that is the kingdom, where there is no coal and still more than enough light. This is cold fusion and mind melding and constructing the warp drive, the revolution of every revolution, all a history becoming one grand throne fight, the heavy favorite betting everything on the other guy, signing all the winnings over to him before the match, and then letting him beat the crap out of him, all while singing him a love song, with Diana Ross and Marvin Gaye on backup. The revolution of strolling into maximum security prison and volunteering for somebody else's execution. The revolution of the phrase, "let me get your chair for you," of volunteering for the altar and handing the priest the knife, the type every father imitates when he lets his children win. This is the revolution of redemption, the complete baffling of all human reason, of everyone who doesn't deserve it, and us realizing we're everyone. All of humanity, sitting in the bleachers of a cosmic Madison Square Garden, their jaws unhinged like a snake's, fallen to the floor, watching the revolution take off at half court and moonwalk his way over every human conception of justice and mercy, to tomahawk in the game winner at the buzzard while rocking a pair of vintage 88 Jordans and neon bell bottoms with glitter gold shutter shades, because redemption is extravagant. This is the after party at the Ritz. The neon lights, the crystal ball, the turntables, the cartwheeling waiters, and Oprah Winfrey doing the hokey pokey. The prodigal son's brother is outside crying about something, but the music's too loud to hear him, and he's not my concern anymore because he's got his invitation. The door is unlocked and thrown open. Security took off their ties and joined the party hours ago, and we've all got rings on our fingers, and we just can't stop rejoicing.